Hello. Hello. Just want to test this out before I gotta go take care of the babies. The kitties. This game doesn't run well on Steam Deck. Can barely hold 30. I tried. No luck. What am I supposed to do? Supposed to go in here? Nothing's happening. It wants me to go in here, but I can't. Let me look at what this is saying. I don't know why they don't do worldwide releases for this. It's taking too long. Gotta put up with shitty Switch and PS5 and no English. I guess everything can't have the money of Pokemon. Only be open from the inside. That's what it says. Alright, where the fuck am I supposed to go? You won't go in here either. And look up the speed run. I know exactly where I am. Yeah, I have to go around. Okay. I don't know why they tell you to go here and then it doesn't let you through. I wish this game was not for the Switch. I wish it was for an actual good console. Why do they have to put everything on the Switch? It's a terrible platform. Should put it on PC first. Playable frame rate and resolution instead of this. This game really suffers because it has to run on the shitty Switch. I'm so tired of the Switch dumbing down games. They desperately need to stop making games for that platform. I feel like the only reason this game has the shitty shit parts is because they can't make a big world with crappy Switch hardware. Switch 2 needs to come pronto. I hope people will stop putting big games on it. When everything has to run on that platform, game design suffers. No one likes the ship parts in this game. It's like if Assassin's Creed had a $3 budget. Alright. This game has good cutscene skips. Just push start. Start and X. Instantly back to gameplay. Beautiful. None of this having to hold down a button for like 10 seconds. Like, no. Heaven forbid you want to play this more than once. Instant skip. Beautiful. I ain't watching any of this. Should be the standard for skipping cutscenes. 2 button presses, instant. Really bothers me in that Gungrave game. It takes like 10 seconds to skip a cutscene. Like, why? I've already decided I don't want to watch it. Like, now they gotta make sure. Alright, this is talking about bond levels. Alright. Gotta pull up the Google Translate for mechanic with tutorials, because I don't know if those actually play again. I kind of got the gist of it. It's probably some things I'm missing. Alright. I don't want to go back on that damn ship, man. Let me just do a dungeon. She's talking about quests. And do anything to get you back on that ship instead of the land where you're actually having fun. It's talking about upgrading weapons. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. This isn't the most thought-provoking Japanese stuff here. Yeah. Let's see what this says. Yeah. Alright. Can tell I played a lot of games like this. There's like not much I really need to read. The little I can read is, at least for Ys isn't super import unfriendly. Pretty standard stuff. I'm sure it'll probably get stuck at some point, but let's skip the cutscenes and use Google Translate for like mechanic stuff. That's all that's really needed. Yeah. Drop a save here. Alright. Gonna make me go on this damn ship again. Yeah, you need to invent a teleporter. The ship is balls. I can't stand it. Nah, I don't want to use this ship. Ship is the worst thing about this game. That's fucking Dogi here. You never get to play as him. He hasn't been playable for 15 years. Last time he was playable was 7. That was like 08, 09. They're never gonna let you play as him again. We'll make you play as the ship instead. I'm like, man, I'll take the ship being not in the game for Dogi. Alright. This wants me to go back here again. Quest. It's the shitty ship combat. I so don't care about this ship. Just give me a dungeon. A normal dungeon. Like, no, we don't want to make dungeons anymore. You gotta use this shitty ship. Like, no, I don't want to. Should be like Tales of Grace's F, where they added the part where you could, skip the childhood part. That was really awesome. Like, yeah, that part of the game sucks. No one wants to do it. So, you played the game once, we don't make you engage with it anymore. Just come on. What does it want? I don't want to do the ship. They're gonna make me, aren't they? Can't just let me go to a dungeon and fight. Nope. Ah, look at this beautiful, vast expanse of nothing. It's like Wind Waker, but worse. I don't know why they thought that anybody wanted this. Fucking ship. Ship is garbage. Ah, the ship is so slow and boring. Put this on the stupid Switch, man. Fuck the Switch. Can't handle anything. Play these games to run fast and kill stuff. And have good music. That's it. That's all anyone plays these for. Why do we need to deviate from that? If I want to go around in a boring, vast expanse of water, I would just play Wind Waker. Which still has a higher budget than this does. Even though it came out 20 years ago. I gotta figure out how all this is done. I just want to get back into gameplay. There's any excuse for him to not be playable. We're never gonna make him playable again. Yeah, Tales of Grace's F has a really weird, like, filler arc at the beginning where you have to run around as kids, and it's really boring. But then they realize, like, yeah, this sucks. so we're not gonna make you do it again. Like, good. Should always be that way. All I can say is they better give me fast travel, or I'm gonna stop playing this game. This is terrible. Why is it so slow? No, I'm not watching any cutscenes, man. Oh, look at this. It's beautiful. It's like they hate the people that play these games. Put shit like this in there. Why? I don't play this game to run around in a ship. At least Kingdom Hearts only made this minigame like a 2-minute thing. Fuck this, man. I need a skip ship button. Learn how to teleport? Seriously? Learn how to teleport. This garbage. Finally, gameplay! Everyone says it's the worst thing about this game. Like, yeah, I agree. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. Sometimes things in the formula don't need to be changed. You're gonna change the formula. Change it with something good. I think that's like the weirdest thing about this game, because they actually did. They changed the combat finally after it being the same for like 10 years. But then they give you this ship stuff. Which is like, what if we made Assassin's Creed 4 ship stuff with a $3 budget and some expired cat food? Great idea. Look, you don't have the budget to do stuff like this, so don't do it. You don't have Ubisoft's infinite money. Stick to what you're good at. Running fast and killing stuff with good music playing. Though the series has been going on for like 35 years, so I guess they're giving themselves pressure to deviate. I'm like, I don't know, man, this is what you're gonna deviate with. I'm not interested. Oh my god, this thing is like... A snail is faster than this thing. Maybe somebody will just mod the ship out. And, like, just max it out at the start, so you spend the least amount of time doing this. The bare minimum amount of time on that damn ship. Fine. Thought this was going to be a break from the ship. I really want you to be on this thing. I don't want to. I need to develop Goku instant transmission and just get there quick. My ship is torture. If I get this game on PC, I'm totally just gonna mod the ship speed. Somebody will be a hero and do it. Let's make the ship 10 times faster. Yes, please. It's like we didn't learn anything from Wind Waker, because that was what everyone hated about Wind Waker, was the ship. Alright, hopefully it doesn't make me use this thing for at least an hour. Yes. Escaped Waterworld. Gameplay! Alright, I need to pay attention to this. No, what's that? I've heard of Opera before. Oh no, switching web browsers, everybody complains about Chrome. But it's like, a lot of the other browsers don't have the extensions, so depending on what you use web browsers for, there's not much of a benefit. I mean, I guess, privacy-wise, they're collecting less data, but... I'm sorry, but there are some Google Chrome extensions that are too good to pass up. And everybody complains about the privacy concerns, like, they're not collecting our data off everything already. I don't know. They want to see how much I look at, like, cat videos and stuff and go for it. I don't care. Is this a scripted fight? I think it is. I hate scripted fights. I think it's just scripted. Or not. Okay, I could have sworn it was scripted. I saw the speed run. Is this scripted or what? I don't understand what it wants. Oh, what a garbage scripted fight. It's like half scripted. There's an HP threshold you need to meet, which is like the worst kind of scripted fight. You gotta make it scripted, just make it so the health bar is depleted and then it goes to the cutscene. That's a pretty cool fight. I actually wanted to learn that fight, but they're like, nah, plot fight. Yeah, there's only 2 playable characters in this game. It's different from the previous games, which is a good thing. The old combat system was getting tired. I'm glad they had the balls to change it after leaving it the same for so long. I was tired of the old combat. It's getting more saturated than Souls combat. The same thing over and over. People say Souls combat is getting old. I'm like, the combat in these games was getting very old. Way worse than anything Souls has done. No, the party just wasn't fun to play, mostly just because the only thing that mattered is what element that they were. It's the only thing that made any difference. I really like how the systems work in tandem in this game, too, where they have the different ways to encourage you to interact with it instead of just spamming the same move over and over, which is how it's been for a while. Are you gonna force me to fish? Yeah, Ys has not changed its combat since... Ys has not changed its combat since 2009. I think the worst thing about Ys was the fact that They didn't even add new stuff to it like Tails. It was kind of just the same thing. Most they changed it, to be honest, was 9, the last game. That at least added the powers and stuff that you had, which made it kind of interesting, but I don't know, the game plan, the way that the battles played out was identical for like the longest time, so I hope that they expand upon this. Maybe give you like more playable characters, but you can only have like 2 at a time, kind of like a fighting game, like a tag fighting game. I think that would be interesting. So he needs to be playable again. He hasn't been playable since E7, a PSP game. I think the worst is every time that they make him not playable and they have him show up, they add somebody who is him and everything but the way that he looks. His gameplay is exactly the same, but like he's the OG. He's been in the game since the PC-88 days, but they don't want to make him playable. Karja, the girl that's with him, is basically just Dogi. It's Dogi with an axe. Exact same thing. I get you want the waifu to be the playable character, but I don't know. It's like not having Tails playable or Luigi playable, like just Mario. At least you can play as Luigi in Smash and Mario Kart. Even though the mainline games, Luigi's been pretty sidelined. He's been benched. But yeah, I do enjoy the combat in this game. It's pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is the... what's it called? The armor system sucks. It feels like it just pads out the fights. Like, well past the point of being interesting. It's like they didn't want you to burst bosses down anymore, but like that was the fun thing about the old system. That was the part people actually liked. It was like if you knew what you were doing, you could burst them down really quick. And now they don't let you do that anymore. I don't know. Kind of counterproductive to me. It took skill to do burst damage. Now it's kind of just pushing a button. What the? I mean, compared to Tails, this is a better massive battle system change. Because they tried, like, 3 times to change the battle system, and, like, it just kind of got worse over time. I hope that they'll expand upon this. I really like how the systems work, how you're encouraged to, you know, use everything. Even if the shield makes the boss fights, like, way slower paced. Alright, this is the Marty McFly board. Alright, what's this? Can't get over how good these cutscene skips are. We're not making you watch anything. Push the start button, push X, and you're out of the cutscene. It's incredible. None of this hold down a button for an hour, even though you've already decided you don't want to interact with the cutscene. It's beautiful. Alright, we're surfing. Cool. I don't know, Ys is kind of interesting compared to Tales, because they're like the only two action combat RPG series that are active right now. The difference is that the people that are hardcore Tales fans never wanted the battle system to change. They just wanted it to be iterated upon, whereas Ys fans were sick and tired of the old combat, and they wanted something new. It's pretty interesting to think about. People are really fatigued from the party system. It's the polar opposite of Tales, when they after Xillia 2, everybody was like, you know, this is peak, we want more of this, but then they started deviating, and it wasn't good deviations, it was worse in a lot of ways. I don't know, it's interesting to think about as a fan of both. I'm definitely way more of a Tales fan than Ys, but just an observation. People were like begging for a change. So far from people that have imported this game, it's pretty pretty well received. People that have actually played the game and imported it like it. Ys has never really been the same anyway. They've gone from bump combat to like hardcore Zelda to party-based. And now it's more like a character action game. With like parries and team attacks and stuff. I gotta change the buttons. I gotta put the surfboard on something else. Alright. I actually don't like default. Am I stuck? Ah! Get out! It won't get out! Ah! I just wanted to change my controls, man! Get out! Oh, you won't get out with that either. Great. Great. I don't know, he's not wanting to go. He's not wanting to go back on the surfboard. He's not doing it. Damn it. He won't go back on the surfboard. He's refusing to go back on it. Button's not doing anything. Great. Love when gimmicks dampen my fun of actually playing the game. He won't get back on the fucking thing. He refuses to do it. Just kill it. Maybe it's because I'm in combat. I'm hoping that's why. Okay, you still won't get back on it. Why? It's not working. Ah! Yes, get back on, please. Thank you. Why was that so difficult? What the hell? Like, nah, it just doesn't work. Weird to give you a new game mechanic, and then if you fall in the water, it just stops working. Gives you paralysis stats. It's interesting.
一応やるまだこれでいいんだろ
Actually, I have not been using any healing items.
まだ何
I'd like to do the bosses without heals because the combat is good enough, and you don't have to babysit party members like Tales games. You know, if you get hit, it's your fault. no babysitting AI. And like, yeah, I don't really like to spam healing items on East fights. I think the combat is good enough. Boss fights are like the highlight. In Tales, it's like you gotta babysit dumb allies constantly. Sometimes using healing items is unavoidable. I hope they don't toss this combat system. I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm actually really enjoying it so far, more than I thought I would. Nice to see a series that's been around for like almost 40 years still have new ideas. Well, see, Zelda just isn't Zelda anymore. That's the difference. Zelda's not Zelda anymore. It's a Ubisoft open world game with a Zelda skin. That's all it is. It's not Zelda anymore. They tried to innovate Zelda, but in the process they made it not Zelda anymore. Zelda's kind of going through the same thing Tails is going through, where they tried to innovate, and they got a lot of new people to play the games, which is a good thing, but they alienated the people that got them that far. It's exactly what's happened with Tails. Tails got a lot more eyes on it when they actually started taking the visual part of the game seriously, instead of always making it look like a generation behind everything else. But they alienated everybody who was playing before then. Yeah, Zelda and Tails are kind of in the same spot. They got more people interested, but they alienated the people that, like, you know, hey, we've been buying these games for decades and we don't like it anymore. But these kinds of things happen when you play stuff for a really long time. Sometimes it's just not for you anymore. I'm kind of getting to that point with Tails. I'm glad that this is, despite its faults, it's doing something different and actually executing it pretty well. Better than I was ever expecting it to. No, they learned their lesson from Ys 8. They learned their lesson. Ys 8 was a train wreck, not just because of the translation. I think the state of the PC port at launch was worse than the translation. The translation was readable, right? People didn't like it, but it's not like it was in English. You know, it wasn't like 90s Japanese game English. It was, you could read it. But the PC port was horrible. The PC port was beyond bad. Ys 8 was the only Ys game that they have on Steam, because they have, like, almost the entire series on there. Most of the games, anyway. That was the only Ys game to have a below positive rating. And that was not because of the translation. It was because of the port. The port at launch crashed to the point where you couldn't even get out of the tutorial. Not even remotely nitpicking. Like, it wasn't like the frame rate or anything, as far as I remember. It was straight up the game kept crashing. You couldn't play it. I watched somebody who bought it at launch, and he went through the tutorial fight like 12 times before he could get off the boat. Because the game doesn't let you save until you get out of those two cutscenes. The cutscene where the boat gets wrecked, and then when you wake up on the island, you can't save. So it was unplayable. I know PC gamers like to nitpick about stuff like frame rate caps and You know, not using direct storage and stuff. Like, no, it was not that. It straight up didn't work. I don't think the translation was a little bit overblown. It definitely wasn't great, but the state of that port was unacceptable. And that was not a problem that the console versions had. The console versions at least functioned as intended and didn't crash constantly. Yeah, Ys 8 is probably like directly responsible for why they don't put these don't localize these games quick anymore. I would not be surprised if that's like the reason why. They have a pretty good track record. A lot of people have been getting into Ys games because it's like one of the only RPG series outside of Persona and Final Fantasy where the preservation is not in the toilet, meaning you can just go on Steam and buy it. It's like the only thing that's remotely playable. If you like Tales or Dragon Quest, you're just kind of shit out of luck, right? You've got a couple games that you can play, but then most of them you can't. You gotta go fire up an emulator and get a translation patch, which is more than the average person wants to do to play a video game these days. And for good reason. So for Ys 8 to launch in such a pathetic state was actually, like, really bad, because they were in the good books for a long time, actually having all the games available. The Ys 8 on Steam is, like, mostly positive, or, like, very positive now, but it was like Batman Arkham Knight levels of unplayable when it came out, which is, like, not what you expect from a PC game that could pass for, like, a really high-end PS2 game, or, like, a mid-era PS3 game. That's not what you would expect. You expect, like, a game that's, like, really pushing graphical fidelity to have those problems, but, like, the graphics are not great, and it barely ran. Which is also why Ys 9 did not have any of those problems, right? They didn't have to touch up the translation. The PC port was great. It had no issues. So Ys 8 is, like, indirectly responsible for why they take so long to bring these games over now, because they know that they're in the higher tier of accessibility. They're pretty much right up there with Final Fantasy, in my opinion. Almost every mainline Final Fantasy is on Steam, which means it's an evergreen platform, so it'll be there 20, 30 years from now. It's not tied to a platform that won't be relevant in 6 years. So, yeah, I don't know if a lot of people really knew about how bad Ys 8 was at launch. I watched somebody, and I'm not exaggerating, it took him like an hour of doing the tutorial boss fight before he could actually play the game. Because when the game loaded onto the island, which is like, you know, the main part of where the game takes place, it would crash. And because you're in a cutscene, you can't save. There's no save point before that. So he had to, like, speed run through that fight countless times before the port would let him pass, because it was crashing constantly. Yeah. So on one hand, it really sucks that it takes them so long to localize. On the other hand, at least they take the PC port and the translation seriously. I think the translation was definitely a bit overblown, in my opinion. It was still readable. It wasn't that bad. As somebody who plays a lot of Chinese indie games, I think that's why I consider it to be overblown. Because that's like a real bad translation. I bought a game that I haven't featured on the channel yet, and the translation is so bad, I can barely even read the tutorials. Like, it would straight up be better if it was still in Chinese and I just use Google Translate. But yeah, it's interesting to think about. Ys has had a very good track record with preservation, and then we got Ys 8 relatively quickly, but at the cost of they rushed the translation and the port, and it hurt the public image for a while, but they managed to recover, which is pretty good. Anyway, I gotta go over to my neighbor's house. I might actually just stream some games over there right now, actually. I just wanted to test out how this look. How did it look on stream? Was it like choppy at all? So it's fine on my end. It's actually, you need like a pretty good processor to run this above 60 FPS, but it's basically helping with frame pacing issues. So before I go, how was the quality? Because I played for like an hour, didn't I? Yeah, I did about an hour gameplay. How was the quality? Is it like dodgy at all? I probably won't play that game much more because I want to finish Kakarot first. Looks fine. Okay. Alright. Alright, I gotta sign off. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for watching.